through the inside of my tent. I don't know how stable those rocks are. Ain't nothing else happening in this weather. Okay, so I've just gotten back to North Leeds in February, not long after the storms we just had in the UK. It's incredibly windy, so you might struggle to hear me a bit. I'm just trying to get set up by this wall, and then I'm going to have this picnic table in front of me, which I guess will act partway as some sort of wind shield, and then I can use that to sit down on and make tea and use my stove. I'm not nearby any tree branches or anything that can blow on me, so I'll be okay. It just might be a bit challenging, and as you can see, it's pretty muddy as well. So it's not quite what I'm used to, but I'm just going to get this tent set up. Put everything away, get my bed and everything set up, get all my equipment in there. That'll help weigh it down because I've got a lot of food and a lot of gear, so I'm sure it'll be alright. Right, that's me all set up. Got my stove, got my gas, got all my food. I've got loads of food this time, so I'm going to work my way through that. Got a book to read, got a spork, a plate, a knife. All my clothes that I put in vacuum packed bags, a wash bag. 2 roll mats. Inflatable, my girlfriend's sleeping bag, which is nice and warm. It's just a bag full of important tent bits. Yeah, bottles to fill up with water. Got my soya milk. All kinds of food in that bag, so I've actually managed to bring quite a lot. It's just one person, which is quite impressive, I think. Also got a few power banks to charge my devices if needs be. Anyway, I'm going to go and have a wash, put a cup of tea on, relax for a bit, and then think about making some food. Just boiling my stove, ready for a cup of tea. It's no jet boil, it's just a Coleman stove, but it does me, suits me fine anyway. Got a little bit of gas. I'm a little bit worried about the wind. It seems to be the most stable place that I can put it down. It might take a bit longer to boil because of all the wind blowing into it, but I don't really have much choice. So let's see how long that takes. Just give you a little look around the campsite here. I'm actually the only one here so far. I don't know if that's an omen, but I'm sure there'll be more people. Ah, yeah, this is the first time I've shown footage of this place in glorious 4K definition, so it's going to look a little bit better than the previous 2 videos. There's nothing like a brew after carrying your stuff, getting the tent set up. Nothing quite like it. Just eating my couscous. I have to admit, I am a little bit wary of the wind. Start looking at trees thinking, what if that tree blows over in the night? I mean, that's going to hit that wall, which is then going to knock into my head in the tent. Yeah, I'd have to be pretty unlucky for that. Just see over in the distance there's a birch tree that's fallen over, but we'll see what happens, won't we? I'll just give you a few, a bit of an idea of what it's like. So I'm just sitting in my tent. I was going to go out and have a walk onto the hill, but the weather's pretty bad. It's still really windy, and there's been quite a few smatterings of rain here and there, so it's not been great. But I'm just sitting here reading, and suddenly all these birds have come out, starting to make quite a lot of noise. So what I want to do was just record for a little minute some of the ambient sounds, just the wind and the tent and a few raindrops, and see if it picks up that bird song, because it's just come out of nowhere really. Tomorrow the weather has changed. It's going to be rain pretty much all day, which is not ideal. I have got waterproofs, but particularly when it's windy too, it's just not that pleasant. So we'll see how that goes. Friday is meant to be drier, so I'll probably do most of my filming then. It's pretty chilly, but I mean, did this before in January, I can do it again. The only difference is the wind. But anyway, enough going on about the wind and the weather, because I've said that enough times. So yeah, just see if this picks up some of those ambient sounds. I hope you managed to hear some of that. So that's the background I have, the sort of audio ambience that I've got. It's very nice just to kind of have that going on in the background, compared to like the noise of the city or the towns, or, you know, sirens, cars, all that going on. There's none of that here. I mean, there is a road, cars do come past, but for the most part it's nice and peaceful. I'll try and get some footage of Stanage Edge, because I haven't really been able to do that properly in my times coming up here, so that might be a good thing to sort of put out. Show the climb up to Stanage Edge and the view from the top in glorious 4K. I still intend to go, you know, briefly through some of the walks that I've done in June and January, just to show you what it looks like in whoa. Yeah, it's pretty windy. To just show you what it looks like in better definition. Anyway, I'm just going to go now, just to kind of batten down the hatches a bit. It'll probably be dark in about an hour or so. I'll just kind of weather the storm, I guess. Can you hear those tawny owls? These ones are actually recorded here this time. Okay, so it's 11:15. The wind has really been picking up. The whole tent has been kind of shaking. It's not really what I'm used to. I'm warm enough, I'm nowhere near cold. It's just, yeah, it's a little bit anxiety inducing, the constant wind, but the tent's going to be fine. Nothing's going to go wrong. I'll have to try and sleep soon. But I've just checked the weather reports, and the wind gusts are supposed to decrease in miles per hour in about an hour or so. So past midnight, 1 o'clock, it will start to die down. I mean, it's not going to stop, it just won't be quite as intense. And then tomorrow it looks like I've got a heavy chance of precipitation most of the day, actually. Even snow, it reckons, so we'll see how that goes. I mean, I am quite high up here, I'm kind of in the peaks, so I could get some snow, which I've not dealt with in a tent before, so that'll be interesting. But it doesn't actually look that bad, does it? But we'll see. I'm sure I'll survive the night. Unless that tree behind me blows down, then I might be a goner, but we'll see. It's really coming down out there. So this is the morning after my first night, and boy was it windy. I also seem to have a really weird dream where I think I was in Sheffield in the city centre and in a cafe, and suddenly lots of people started getting outside and walking or looking at something, and a man sort of turned to me and said, "Something's going on, like in War of the Worlds, you know, the Spielberg Tom Cruise version, not the H.G. Wells musical or those older movies, but the actual one that came out in the early 2000s. And I got outside and went to look with the crowd, and you could see mushroom clouds like in the distance, at least 2 or 3 of them, pretty far away. And it was understood that someone had basically launched a series of nukes against against the UK. So that was a pretty frightening dream. You know, sometimes when you have those dreams where you wake up and you feel immensely relieved because you remember where you are and you realise that it was after all just a dream. And actually that sense of relief is almost worth having the dream because it's so great. Yeah, this is the first time I've been camping where I've actually not been enjoying the conditions because the ground is so wet and muddy and it's been so windy. Had a little bit of sleet this morning too, but it's actually brightened up a little bit now. It seems incredibly changeable, so looking at the forecast doesn't seem to be helping. You know, I can look at 2 different forecasts on 2 different websites and they're completely different, so I'm kind of just going to have to gauge it myself. But yeah, it's brightening up a bit now. I don't think there's going to be any torrential rain, which would sort of ruin the experience for me, but I'm going to tough it out because tomorrow's meant to be a lot nicer. I shall have my second cup of coffee. Kind of feel like I need a bit of a boost this morning just because it has been quite cold and damp, and I'm not quite sure where I'll film yet, but just got to keep an eye on the batteries in the GoPro as well because it's really thirsty on them. Anyway, I'll probably get sorted, get a wash, pack a day bag and think about where I'm going to go and explore. See how muddy it is. Just give you some idea. Putting some leaves down sort of helps a little bit, but yeah, the more I'm standing in front of that tent, the more I'm creating sort of a wallow, which I don't really want to do. I'm just boiling my stove now. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so I've got a golden opportunity here to do some quick filming while the sun's out and it's not raining. I wasn't actually anticipating that today, so let's have a look. Might be a little bit harder for me to do those panning, zooming shots just because putting the camera down in these extremely muddy conditions, but we'll have a look. Got the Hyper Smooth 4.01, so I no longer have to even worry about trying to walk steadily or keep the camera balanced. So this time you can see North Lees, the Hood Brook, these woods in even better quality again. So I've made leaps and bounds since my first video. One thing I have to keep in mind is that it does record breathing sound, and that's even just walking at a normal pace. It's not like I'm extremely unfit and struggling to breathe, it's more just it picks them up because the microphone's so good. It's beautiful when the sun comes out. It's gone from wind to sleet this morning to now sun. It's been incredibly changeable. You never quite know what's coming next. Okay. Just wanted to do this circuit while it's dry. Yeah, I'm the only person camping. Maybe the recent storms have put people off. But I've already seen 2 jays again, the same ones I saw last time, I'm assuming, and a pair of pheasants. Are they pheasants or are they grouse? I'll have to double check that. I remember talking about the time I said I saw a little deer in here. Well, it was probably what they call a muntjac. It was only very brief. As soon as I saw it, it ran off. It's definitely small and deer shaped, so I can't think what else it would have been. But I've never seen them here, apart from that one time.
Must be an incredibly elusive animal. We're not going to do any tree identification, as I said before, just because we've already done this area. If it becomes too similar to what I've already recorded, I won't show all of it, but if I can get some nice high quality footage like this, I'll be happy. It probably makes a change not to feel motion sick from all the bumping around. Shall we have a look at the trees for old time's sake? All that bracken from last year still. Oh, my battery's dropped drastically already. It's the only thing I'm disappointed about. Otherwise, this is a great camera. Fine little addition to my equipment. Yeah, it was round about here where that muntjac was. It just disappeared as soon as I saw him. I do want to test out the underwater capability of this, but it's that sort of thing I was talking to my friend about it, where immersing technology in water feels wrong. I haven't got the protective case yet for this GoPro. It's quite expensive really, but it's polycarbonate, so it's going to be worth getting. I would highly recommend getting a case. The reason the Hero 10 doesn't come with one is because you're not really supposed to need one, whereas the older models of the GoPro, you did need that waterproof housing in order to use the underwater mode. But this, however, should be waterproof straight out of the box, so I'm sure it would be fine, but I'd hate to break it when I've only just got it. It's just getting over that, isn't it? We're gonna have to just go for it, I think, at some point. But if we do, let's do it somewhere a bit brighter. Not down to what I call the plunge pool and the memorial bench. It's really nice being able to just walk and hold the camera and not have to worry about keeping it steady. Feels like luxury. Okay, so that hadn't fallen down before. And what else has fallen down? Let's go and have a look, eh? Oh yeah. Show you this here. Completely sort of come loose and shifted down. The tree roots were probably connected to it. Made sort of a natural bridge across the river. Brook, sorry. Oh. I want to see if I can get that plastic bottle, because as you've seen I don't really like bits of plastic lying around, but it looks like a no-go really. I don't know how stable those rocks are. All I can hope is that it gets down somewhere more reachable and someone else collects it, but yeah. I sort of feel an onus now I've seen it, just to pick it up, but anyway, if I find a good stick I'll see if I can test those rocks and then pick it up. Just because it'll take so long to biodegrade. Right, it's getting quite warm now the sun's out, so I'm just going to get changed into my more lightweight clothing. Just stick or a branch or anything really, just to test those rocks. It's not really a fair test because it doesn't weigh the same as a human. Right, I'm going to try and get it. I've got my waterproofs on, I've not got any valuables with me. One plastic bottle rescued. %61 battery already. I've done maybe 30 minutes of recording at a push. Definitely going to need some more batteries. I'll just use up this one and then I'll have to go back and recharge them. So let's see how much we can capture on 60%. We'll get to those little stepping stones. I'll see if I can do some underwater shots. Although, since there's been a lot more heavy rainfall, I kind of fear that those stepping stones will be submerged, but let's go and find out. It can be hard to decide whether silence is appropriate or whether to be having a continual dialogue. Just too much silence and you can switch off. But too much sort of forced dialogue when you don't have a script can lead to you just saying sort of daft things or not really having anything of any particular use to say. So that is something I am finding quite tricky. What I could also do is do voiceovers after I've recorded the footage, which would help give me more time to think and plan about what I'm going to talk about. It's actually incredibly warm with that sun out. I always make this mistake, but I wear a nice raincoat, waterproof trousers. As soon as you're out and about walking, it's really warm. I mean, this could almost be shorts and t-shirts for me at the moment. It's mad. It's only February. Anyway, I suppose that's neither here nor there. Right. Still haven't seen another soul out today. Now, am I going to risk an underwater shot? I'm going to have to at some point, aren't I? It does look like the stepping stones are still crossable. But I really did just want to show you what this looks like in higher quality. It's a beautiful place. Wow. Well, the water looks very clear here, so if I am going to put it under, this is the place to do it. Across these here stepping stones. Should we risk it? Seem to be fine. Let's hope so, eh? I don't know what that actually looked like because I couldn't see, but right. I'm going to get across here, show you some up of that little secret forest. Oh! Yeah, foot just went completely in there. How foolish of me. My only pair of shoes as well. Oh well. Right. Well, I've got plenty of pairs of socks. I'll survive. I'm not exactly going to get trench foot for a few days, am I? Camera's still running, having been underwater. Excellent. Ah. Oh, now I'm no expert. One thing I will say, if you are going to be doing some filming and walking around in nature, but those sort of shots to give exposition and background are really important, because too much of just point of view can get a little bit boring. So have lots of different shots, walking in different directions, going up different things. I remember in my Ecclesall Woods video, that's how I started out. But about a third of the way through I sort of stopped doing those kind of shots, and I think it was noticeable. But also it's a bit tricky to do too many of them because you're constantly stopping and starting, putting the camera down. We're going to go now up to the mill pond, see what that looks like underwater. Imagine if my camera actually broke, how disappointing would that be? Very typical, wouldn't it? Okay. Don't particularly want to know what that is. It's like someone's underwear. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they got caught short. It does happen. No, it's still working. In future I'll definitely buy the case. Oh wow, little golf ball on there. I've not seen this clear ever actually. It only gives me a sense of what's underneath it. It's not actually that deep. There's a lot of kind of silt and sand and soil at the bottom though, that's why I would be sort of cautious of swimming in it, but wow, I wonder if there's any fish. I wonder if my camera's still alright, more importantly. 39% battery, so that's dropped about 15% just since I last spoke of it, so not great, is it? Go on, let's give a go of under here while I can. See what you can see. Yeah, the housing seems to be stable. Battery cap's closed properly. That's closed properly. Yeah, we're all good really. My only problem now is the remaining battery. Right, let's get some of this little secret walk before my battery runs out. Go back, recharge my stuff. Make sure to dry the camera fully before I connect it into anything. Be interesting to see what those underwater shots look like afterwards when I sort of start reviewing the footage. Oh wow, that's lovely and clear. Actually does look quite appetizing. Wonder if I can get away with swimming in it. Yeah, maybe. Maybe not. It's going to be bitterly cold, isn't it? Oh. Sorry ducks, didn't mean to startle you. Right. get up to Whale Rock and then probably time to head back to camp, dry things out, recharge the batteries, perhaps have another brew, maybe some noodles, and then see what the weather's playing at. It probably is going to take a good half a day now to charge those batteries, maybe a day, so it may be that filming is over. But if I can have 2 freshly charged batteries ready for tomorrow, then I'm fairly confident I can get the rest of the footage I need. Oh, look how clear this all is. Ah. I only really have noodles and couscous to eat. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but it can get a little boring. Did have some spiced sausage sort of come with me. I did have some spiced sausage to bring and sort of mix in with the noodles to make it a bit tastier, but foolishly forgot to bring the stuff I had in the fridge. So it was ambient goods only. Just looking at the food I'd built up and thinking, oh, where's that sausage? Perhaps in the summer it would be good to take this with its protective housing in for a dip. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Up back near Whale Rock. This waterfall looking a bit more magnificent than usual. At the time back in June it was pretty much dried up. See if we can get onto that island in the middle. The funny thing is, the shooting in 4K, I don't actually have a 4K monitor or screen, so I'm actually unable to enjoy it myself. Right. No, I'm not making it across there. Not today, anyway. Right, time to start heading back, I think. %, battery. Not even an hour and it's gone from about 83 down to about 20. That's mad. Be a bit careful here, it's a little bit slippy. Perhaps it's to encourage you to get the charging port. Maybe. I don't know. Whoa! That was close. It's one thing I do like about these walking boots is when you slip, you do slip, but it's always for like 1.5 feet, no more, and then you sort of regain your traction, so it's that split second of panic and then, oh, I'm fine. Right, let's see how far I can get going back to the tent before I run out completely. Let's go. 20%. Back across the stepping stones. A little bit slippy there. 18%. Get them back, put them on charge. From what I understand, it's pretty normal for filming to drain batteries. You just got to have lots of backups and what have you. Right. Am I going to get wet again? Probably. Not as wet. There we go, eh? That's a win. 17%. Until spring begins in earnest now, if I do any more filming, it probably won't be of this area just because we've done it so many times. Well, as I said before, I really just wanted to show you what it looked like in high def 4K as opposed to low quality shaky footage. So, see how far I can make my way back to the campsite. %. Yeah, it's dropping drastically, isn't it now? Oh well. We got some good shots. Got some underwater shots. Cool to see what they look like. And the camera seems fine. Just to make sure it's clearly very dry before I try and recharge the batteries, obviously. So, oak tree. Up this climb that wears you out, even though it doesn't look like it does. 13%. Let's get back to the top of this little slope. 12%. Oh, I am definitely pleased about the weather turning out like this. It clearly said yesterday on the forecast 85, 90, 95% chance of precipitation all day. I mean, heavy snow at one point. I guess that could still happen, don't get me wrong. 11%. One thing that is a bit of a pain, camping in wet and muddy conditions, is that the outside of your tent becomes incredibly boggy and muddy. There's not a lot you can do about it. So every time you're coming in and out, you're sort of pressing yourself down into the boggy ground. So it creates a sort of little quagmire, which doesn't do anyone any favours really. But what are you going to do? No use complaining, is there? 10% red warning. I'm not going to do any exposition shots. See how far we can get. It's only 10:15. Got the whole day ahead of me yet. I'm not going to get those batteries charged in time to do more shooting today though. We're getting closer. 9%. I wonder at what point it'll just close down. Stop recording. Oh look. Tree, massive branch from a tree blown down, and also the space on my memory card is running low, but I've got a backup one.
But yeah, I'm pretty off about that, but
Drives it right sort of horizontally into your face, which is a little bit unpleasant. Put his back out for the rest of the trip, so... Got this big quagmire outside my tent.